on X, formerly known as Twitter, reported that the former president called Milwaukee a, quote, horrible city. But Congressman Stile, who was in the room, tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News that the focus of the conversation was missed.
The broader context here is that no one is arguing that he disparaged the city as the media is trying to report in some outlets. The focus here is a conversation about how there are certain challenges that we truly do face in the city of Milwaukee and what policies need to be put in place to get ourselves in the right direction.
Former President Trump will visit Racine on a campaign stop next Tuesday. Nearly $1 million from Wisconsin to transport paper rolls.
Governor Evers in the DOT announcing an $885,000 transportation grant for Pleasant Prairie. It will support a rail project for WestRock, a corrugated packaging company. The rail will allow WestRock to transport paper rolls to the Union Pacific Railroad mainline from their recently acquired 190-acre facility. The DOT saying the project will meet the demand for packaging solutions in the area and create 177 jobs. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Summerfest is 1 week away from returning to Milwaukee's lakefront, and some are wondering if the annual music festival should extend its footprint beyond Henry Meyer Festival Park.
That question was posed to Pabst Theater Group Executive Director Gary Witt on WTMJ's The Upswing Wednesday. Witt says Summerfest should close earlier and offer late-night shows at locations in downtown Milwaukee.
It should be at restaurants and bars and coffee shops where artists can appear, and it becomes a real experience for people who travel to the city of Milwaukee.
But Milwaukee World Festival President and CEO Sarah Pancari tells Wisconsin's Midday News their focus in the near term is likely to remain at the fest grounds.
We've seen an 80% increase in total events down here at the festival park.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Gas prices dropping in Wisconsin as summer driving season gets into gear. Gas buddy and analyst Patrick DeHaan tells Wisconsin's Midday News that's actually not a surprise.
Once the transition to summer gasoline is over and refinery maintenance is done, usually that leads to prices starting to see some downward momentum, and usually refineries are done with maintenance before the summer driving season.
DeHaan says prices are 40 cents lower than at this time last year. Watch those speeds while driving in Madison. The Wisconsin State Patrol plans speed enforcement on the Madison Beltline on Friday, June 14th. Weather permitting, they will use the Air Support Unit to help spot traffic violations. From the air, the State Patrol says it's much easier to spot drivers who are speeding or driving aggressively. The speed limit on the Beltline is 55 miles per hour. Sports traffic and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 8:03.
Even when you get a great price, diamonds cost a lot of money.
But we want you to be able to buy the engagement ring you really want.
You won't have to settle for anything less than fantastic when you come to Kessler's.
We do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
Friendly financing makes it possible.
We can give you 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit.
And with approved credit, we can give you 36 months to pay with just 9.99%.
And if getting your credit approved is a problem, we've even got second chance financing for people who deserve a second chance.
Don't settle for second best. Come to Kessler's.
Seriously, we do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
That's the sort of thing you can expect from us when you hear us say, welcome to Kessler's.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com. And one more thing. Welcome to Kessler's.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
The Brewers Sunday Fun Day Bundle is your new way to brunch this summer. Get tickets, food, beverages, and parking for up to 15 people, starting at $62. Get yours at brewers.com/funday.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. An off day for the Brewers before they welcome the Reds to American Family Field on Friday. You can hear Brewers Weekly in just a few minutes here on WTMJ. It's the final day of the Packers' 3-day mandatory minicamp in Green Bay, and the Celtics now lead the NBA Finals 3-0 over the Mavericks, and they could clinch the title on Friday. Taking a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. All clear on the roads this evening. No incidents or delays at this time.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
Taking a look at your Storm Team forecast. Tonight we've got a slight chance for showers, then decreasing clouds, a low of 61. Friday, sunny skies, a high of 73 by the lake and 78 inland. On Saturday, partly cloudy with a slight chance for rain, high of 74 by the lake and 78 inland. Sunday, partly cloudy and breezy, a slight chance for thunderstorms, a high of 88. On Monday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, another chance for storms, a high of 90. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 81 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Sighting Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 8:07.
On the field, inside the clubhouse, and everything in between. This is Brewers Weekly. Here's Dominic Cotroneo.
Okay, my number matter. Here we go. Wow, I sound like crap. Holy cow. I haven't spoken much today. I'm Dominic Cotroneo, fighting through the worst allergy season I have ever had. Today, I was looking forward to a relaxing off day, play some golf, and it has not gone according to plan today, to say the least. But we're going to fight through it for the next 51 minutes and try to put a smile on your faces, because we all know the feeling, right? When you can't breathe, all you beg for is to be able to breathe again. It's all in my nose, and it's just like brutal. And look, honestly, Matt, if I turn it up any higher, I'm going to modulate. So I need you to put me up on your end there, because this is the loudest I can go without cracking my voice and sounding like Tommy Pickles or something. So the Brewers are off today, thank goodness for me, but back tomorrow for what should be a fun weekend. A big kind of litmus test weekend for the Reds, as Cincinnati will be coming to town for the first time this season. The Brewers have not seen the Reds since April, when things were very, very different for the Brew Crew. But one thing remains the same, is their pitching injuries. We're going to do things a little bit differently today, given we didn't have a post-game show yesterday. Let's go ahead and relive yesterday's game here right off the bat. A fun win for the Brewers. It got stressful at the end, but Tobias Myers getting the start. He pitched very, very well, and the line gives him the win, obviously, but the Brewers really were not in this game until the 6th inning or so, when they finally gave him a chance and got to Chris Bassett, or I should say they never got to Chris Bassett. They got to the Blue Jays bullpen. So let's start with a couple of key plays early in this game. A solo homer in the first inning. Second batter of the game, Davis Schneider hit a home run to right center field, which, with all due respect to Tobias, what else is new, right? He's given up a homer in almost every start he has made this season. But what he really did a great job of is settling down from there. And he was commanding the strike zone, getting ahead in the count, not relying on swing and miss, but able to work around some traffic. The Brewers certainly had plenty of traffic, but had nothing going against Chris Bassett. We picked things up in the top of the 4th inning. Bo Bichette flied out to center fielder Blake Perkins. That was on the first pitch. A lot of early swings against Myers in this one. Then old friend Daniel Vogelbach walked. With one out, George Springer was coming to the plate, as the Blue Jays were already leading and trying to add more.
Springer lined out to the shortstop Adames in the second. The 0-1 pitch, swing, ground ball. Back up the middle for Terang. Fields it near the bag. Tags second one. Throws to first, 2. Double play, 4-3. Springer grounds into it. Myers gets 2 for the price of 1.
It was a 7-pitch inning for Tobias. His pitch count was very tidy by the end of the day. He threw a total of 66 pitches, 49 strikes. And we'll break down that decision coming up as well, of why he was pulled so soon. But the Brewers still hadn't mastered a run against Bassett, and he was finally done after 5 innings, leaving the bases loaded multiple times. It is the humor, it is the paradox for how good the team is with runners in scoring position. They are one of the worst teams in baseball with the bases loaded. But they finally got their opportunity in the 6th inning. And I had tweeted this. I said, man, when that valve breaks, it's going to explode. And sometimes I'm right. More often, I'm not. But what happened in the 6th inning was patented Brewers relentless baseball. The inning began with Jackson Chourio. He ended up grounding out to third base. Ollie Dunn lined out to shortstop. So you blink, and there's 2 outs on just 8 pitches. And you're thinking, all right, well, maybe it's one of those days where you're just totally snake-bitten here at the bottom of the order. Then it was Blake Perkins. He drew a walk. Then Bryce Terang singled. It put runners on the corners, and that relentless speed that always pops up, speed never has a bad day, as they say, showed up for the Brewers for their first run of the game.
But a big threat here with 2 outs. There goes the runner. The pitch is down and in. And he's going to get caught in a rundown. And the ball gets away from the shortstop, Bichette, and rolls into shallow right field. Coming down the line and scoring is Perkins. On his way to third goes Terang. Terang was trying to get caught in a rundown. And it was actually Kiner Falefa who cut in front of the bag to take the throw. And he didn't catch it cleanly. And it went off of his glove and deflected into shallow right field.
So that tied the game. 2 pitches later, William Contreras still at the plate.
2-0 pitch, ground ball on the right side, into right field, base hit Contreras. Terang trots home, the Brewers lead it 2-1.
Remember when I said about that valve, that it was going to burst? They still weren't done. How about Yelly?
And the pitch. Yelich, a bouncer on the left side. It's going to get under the glove of Clement and trickle into left field. Contreras around third. The Brewers have a 3-1 lead on an RBI single from Christian Yelich.
It was a short hop, tough play for Clement that he actually got a little piece of glove on it. I think he would have been better suited not even touching it because it deflected it away from the defenders into shallow left center field. The Brewers still weren't done. They're now leading 3-1. All of this with a 2-out rally. And the big bop from who else? Willie Adames.
High fly ball deep center field. Varsho's back. Track. Bye. Baseball. Willie Adames with an exclamation point here in the 6th. A 2-run shot. It's 5-1 Crew on Willie's 11th of the season.
446 feet away for Willie Adames. So they're up 5-1. Hand it over to the leverage bullpen. Brian Hudson, no problem. Hobie Milner, no problem until the 9th. They went back to Hobie Milner to begin the 9th inning. A soft double in the left field by Clement. A single through the right side by Horowitz. That made a run across, so that's 5-2. Schneider managed a single into left field. That put runners on first and second, and then went to get Trevor McGill. The first curveball McGill tried to throw, he spiked in the dirt, got by everybody, took out the double play, was still nobody out. Runners were on second and third, and the tying run was at the plate. Bo Bichette hit a ground ball single through the right side. They held Schneider at third to score another run. Then Danny Jensen took a walk. That put the bases loaded again, and the battle was George Springer, Alejandro Kirk, and then off the bench, Vlad Jr. George Springer would strike out on gas for McGill and then ultimately get him on the curve. Alejandro Kirk hit a ball that I'll break down in the next segment. I don't know how it didn't get out. 101 miles an hour off the bat, 30 degrees launch angle, which is very good, to dead center field on a hot day. Everything opened up, and it barely got to the warning track. For context, Willie's was 106 at 31 degrees. We'll break all those numbers down in a moment. But it was still a sacrifice fly. That put the tying run on third base and run on the corners for pinch hitter Vlad Jr., who was off the bench. He was supposed to have a day off, and McGill walked the plank with him.
Here's the 0-1. Fly ball out to center. Perkins back on it. Still back on it. Onto the warning track. Makes the catch. This ball game is over. The Brewers hold on. And they take 2 of 3 from Toronto. The final score here this afternoon, 5-4 Crew. It got dicey in the 9th, but McGill kept his composure and got the Brewers through it. And the Crew wins their 40th game of the season in thrilling fashion here on this Wednesday.
Lane Grindle on the call as the Brewers win the game and the series and make it into a happy off day today. So if you care about the standings, since it is now Father's Day weekend, which it's amazing how fast that popped up on us, the Brewers are still the only team above 500 in the division. They are 40-28, third best record in the National League, 6.5 games clear of the St. Louis Cardinals, who won earlier today. We'll have a later segment talking all about the out-of-town and what the rest of the scoreboard looks like. We'll also talk a little bit about William Contreras and what is concerning me about him, and we'll also break down those plays I said we're going to break down from Wednesday's game. Thanks for bearing with me today. I'm hanging in there. I got my tea here, and I'm already almost through it, so I might need to go make some more. Brewers Weekly will continue to preview the Reds this weekend. I'm fighting through allergies. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. 855-616-1620. You can text in. You can call in. Let's have a good time tonight and kind of help me out of the bullpen here, eh? All right, back with more after this on WTMJ.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Quality heating. Heat pumps have been the norm down south, but they're new up here. And I'm a big advocate for them. They're far more efficient than conventional AC systems and serve as a backup to your furnace too. They don't use gas and they're really efficient. And that's why the government basically pays for a big portion of these babies with rebates. So before you install a conventional AC system, ask the man in the red van about an Armstrong air heat pump. You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality heating, quality heating. Manufacturers can void a warranty if annual maintenance can't be proven. Having a preventive maintenance agreement on your HVAC system keeps your warranty in check, helps avoid nuisance calls and your system failing at inopportune times. You get 15% off parts and labor on repairs, no trip charges, discounted pricing for replacements, and priority service. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. See the man in the red van about a preventive maintenance agreement starting at only $25.50 per month. Quality heating, quality heating.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Rose Gray from Fox World Travel here to bring you exciting news. In partnership with Globus, Insight Vacations, and Avalon Waterways, our 2025 Fox Group Vacations collection is now available. Whether you want to explore Europe, Hawaii, Asia, or beyond, by land or river, our award-winning Fox Group Vacation experts have handcrafted exclusive experiences for people seeking to explore the world. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Join us and make memories to last a lifetime.
Thinking of popping the question? Diamonds Direct has an offer you can't miss. This month only, buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. No one provides education, selection, and value like Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet from your friends at Diamonds Direct won't last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
We're fighting through it. I think I'm going to go for the second helping of tea after this break. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Brewers Weekly going until 9 o'clock this evening. With a plug nose and all, we're fighting through it, y'all. Then I'm going to go drown myself with some NyQuil and go to bed because, man, we got a big day tomorrow for Bill Schroeder, in case you missed it. We'll talk more about that at the end of the program. This segment, we're going to break down those plays I wanted to talk about as far as the dead baseballs, because I know that's a kind of a sensitive topic these days. But first, let's get to the phone lines. 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620. Let's get to Doug out in Baraboo. Doug, you're live here on Brewers Weekly.
Yeah, good evening, Dom. You need to get, I don't even know how to pronounce it, fluticasone proportionate. It's better known as Flonase, but you got to get it from a doctor. It's a prescription. You can't get it over the counter. it works wonders.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's game was fun. The night before, not so much. I wanted to comment on how much I enjoy Pat Murphy's press conferences. We're like almost 2.5 months now in, and I actually look forward to it. I don't want to compare managers, but towards the end and maybe a couple of years, I didn't even listen to Council's press conferences because I didn't. As a fan, I really didn't learn anything. You know, a couple examples with Murphy. You know, he explained why and how he used the relief pitcher to start those games to get the 4 outs, and then how he prepared young guys. You know, like Rodriguez the other day, how he prepared him and talked to him. Getting into the game and said, "Hey, it's not about you; it's about the team." And I don't know. You get so much insight, and it's so much enjoyable. And I wonder if that doesn't trickle down into the clubhouse. I have no idea. I'm not a manager, obviously, but it sure seems like just a super feeling, and from a fan's side. And I wonder if the players might feel the same.
It's noticed for sure, Doug, on the media side of things. Appreciate the call and the question. Todd Rosiak and Kurt Hogue did like an off-day get-to-know-us piece because they joked that they were desperate for content. But it seemed like it was a pretty big hit, and I obviously work with those guys on the beat here in Milwaukee. And one of the questions was exactly what you're asking. It's like, is there a difference between Craig Counsell and Pat Murphy covering them? And they kind of left it alone, but they slid exactly what you're saying, Doug, into the paper. Now, I'll go ahead and go on the record and say it's a massive difference. And I don't want to necessarily slam dunk say, yes, it's a massive difference in a good way. Sometimes with Counsell, you got afraid to ask strategy questions because you knew what the answer was going to be. And that's part of the job that I think sucks. And people always ask, like, why don't you ask harder questions? Well, when we do ask harder questions to some people, this isn't Counsell every time, but some people in baseball don't take well to that. Murph has handled tough questions. He has not answered tough questions. He has answered tough questions, just like any manager has. But with the smile and the smirk and kind of the, I don't want to say old man experience, let's put it like that, of like understanding why you have to ask that question. He's going to spin it to protect his players and go on from that. None of us are ever trying to get you. We just want an honest answer. And I'll never forget a clip from spring training. And the spring training media sessions with Pat Murphy were just completely something out of left field, pun intended, that I did not expect it. Because after dealing with Counsell for so long, this was not what I was used to. And not that it was a bad thing either. That Counsell was just kind of get to the business, get to the point. Here's who's dealing with something. Here's who's pitching. Here's who's in the lineup. Here's this. And then we'll ask like something random and then see you later, 10 minutes or less. Murph had been like 25, 30 minutes every session in spring training, talking from horse racing to Notre Dame football to the Dutch national team in the WBC, talking Arizona State, talking lifesavers. I mean, you name it, he's talked about it. And it's been really fun to enjoy him and get to know him a little bit better. For me, personally, like, the press conferences are interesting, but I'm very grateful that I get to talk to him without a microphone in my hand, and learn more about baseball from him and the entire coaching staff. And I did that with Counsell, too, and I really appreciate their time. That's why I think a lot of people were kind of coming at me of how soft I was about Craig Counsell's return. Like, how are you shocked that he got booed? I'm like, well, he taught me a lot about baseball in his time here. I've only been here since 2021, so he was the only manager I had known. And then with Pat Murphy coming in, I had known Murph since I was in college. So this was kind of a best of both worlds for me. But good question there, Doug. Appreciate it. Real quick, I want to get back to the phone lines before we talk about what I said I was going to talk about with the dead baseballs and everything. The phone number is 855-616-1620. Dick up in Port. Dick, you're live here on Brewers Extra Innings.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call. I've just got an observation I just thought of while you were talking about the differences between Murphy and Counsell, and I'm not trying to play psychiatrist here, or psychologist, whatever. I noticed that Murphy, when he's in the dugout, he's in the background. Counsell was always up front. Maybe someone can analyze that. But my real question to you is, I don't understand what we're waiting for in trying to get more starting pitching by utilizing the glut we have in the outfield. What's the holdup? Let's trade some of these guys. We've got to get more starting pitching. Do you agree with me?
100%. Yeah, I agree entirely. The number one, if they go through the trade deadline, adding no starting pitching, that's a recipe for disaster.
To trade some of these outfielders now when they're still looking good.
I get what you're saying there, Dick.
I mean,
yeah, for sure. I appreciate the call and the question. Here's what I'd say to that. It takes two to tango, right? Maybe offers are out there, and the other team has said no. You know, there's things that we just don't know yet as far as who's on the table, who's not on the table. Is Mizorowski going to be available? Is Brock Wilken going to be available? Is Garrett Mitchell going to be available? Is Sal Frelick going to be available? You know, and it's easy to sit here on your computer and do like a trade analysis or like the NBA trade machine, and now there's a future value calculator for baseball, which is okay. It's not super accurate, but it takes two to tango, and these are franchise-altering decisions, right? So let's look at the Marlins, for example, right? And this is how we'll wrap up this segment. Then we'll talk about the dead baseballs. The Marlins, they have all the pressure on them, quite frankly, as do the White Sox. And know what you're thinking, Dom, they're the worst teams in baseball. Why would there be pressure on them? They need to get this right because their best assets, Garrett Crochet for the White Sox, and Eric Fetty, to that matter, and Jesus Luzardo, and maybe even Ryan Weathers, and maybe even A.J. Puck, and obviously their closer, Tanner Scott. They need to get them right because otherwise they're going to be stuck in a perpetual rebuild. I know they made the playoffs last year. Look at me with a straight face. Tell me you were scared of the Marlins at any time last season. That wasn't a legitimate playoff team. I'm sorry. This is part of the expanded playoffs. I was more afraid of the Diamondbacks, and look what they did. They came into Milwaukee and took 2 out of 3. But the reason why there's a holdup, it takes two to tango. And that's what we were saying all offseason, remember, with why haven't they traded Corbin Burns yet? Why haven't they traded Corbin Burns yet? Then they signed Rhys Hoskins, and then they trade Corbin Burns. Everyone's like, well, what do you mean? Timing's everything. It's just, I think it's going to be a matter of when, not if, for the Brewers. And I'm not saying it's going to be Crochet, Luzardo, or Fetty, or anyone like that, but I'm saying the Brewers have to make a legitimate signing, whether it's a trade, whether it's a blockbuster, whether it's something, to make sure they fortify their starting rotation, because they've still got about 7 weeks or so until the trade deadline, right? So we got 3 weeks left of June, 4 weeks of July, and then boom, that's your team moving forward. And one last note on this, I'd be shocked if Willy Adames was in any of those trade packages, truly, because I know Joey Ortiz has been playing great, and he seems like the shortstop of the future when Willie does depart, but I wouldn't give up Willie. He's part of this team. You got to let it ride. He's going to get the qualifying offer, and then you'll get compensation for that in the form of the draft. Okay, that went off the rails. Let's talk about the dead baseballs coming up next as I'm fighting through allergies here. Brewers Weekly rolls on 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. On your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Morning News
is long past filtering into the branch of our government that is to be explicitly apolitical.
Listen to Vince Cotroneo every weekday starting at 6 a.m.
Talked about this before, the appearance of impropriety. If it looks like the fix is in, then you can't blame people when they argued the fix was in.
Perception becomes reality.
And if we can't have faith in the decisions of our judiciary, we are truly lost.
Only here on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp, and that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Got a reminder for you. Sunday's Father's Day, and the Mine Shaft Restaurant in Hartford is the most affordable Father's Day dining destination. Just think how much your father and your grandfather mean to you. I highly recommend the Mine Shaft's all-you-can-eat Father's Day buffet for under $20. It's all Dad's favorites with a huge dessert table and under $20. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. The Friday fish fry is all you can eat, and it's just $6.99. $6.99 even on Father's Day. The Mine Shaft right there in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. Plenty of seating, lots of close parking. Call and reserve today for your $6.99 all-you-can-eat fish fry. The Saturday steak dinner and the all-you-can-eat Father's Day buffet are both under $20. Celebrate Father's Day super affordably at the Mine Shaft. It's big food, it's big fun. Make big memories. MineShaftRestaurant.com. Don't forget your dad. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back, Dom Cotroneo. We're fighting through it. We're halfway home already, right? We got momentum. We're rolling downhill now. It's going to be okay. 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. This text, though, I have not heard if anyone has explained, is Bob Uecker retired? He doesn't do the home games either. Hope you feel or sound better soon, Dom. No, Ueck's not retired. He is making his own schedule this season. Generally, we've not seen him do back-to-back games this season. He can make whatever schedule Bob wants, quite frankly. I understand folks want to hear Bob. He understands it too. But to make it through 162, sometimes you got to take a breather, and that's what Bob's been doing. Obviously, he's not traveling still, but they're just trying to see how he feels. Don't push it here in June as the months start getting hotter and start giving him some days off. So I imagine he'll be on the air tomorrow for WTMJ and the Brewers radio network, and then maybe take Saturday off and be back on Sunday, and then the Brewers will get back on the road to take out west. Let's talk about the dead baseball thing. So this is a funny little conspiracy, and I've talked about it on Mondays with the Wisconsin Morning News guys, with Vince Vitrano and Eric Bilstad. Like, why are the Brewers getting so many home runs robbed by them? Well, in case you missed it, and this is silly conspiracy talk, let me disclaim this right off the top. None of this is proven. This is honestly dangerous for me to even be talking about it. Not like dangerous, like, oh my gosh, you're going to pull Dom off the air, but just like, it's silly in a way to give this attention. However, people thought everyone was silly in 2019 when they were suggesting something was wrong with the baseballs, and we look back and Major League Baseball confirmed that they messed with the baseballs in 2019 and had the juice baseball season. You know, the numbers are overwhelming. And it's also something to be clear about. Not every ball is deadened. And I think the perfect example is what happened in yesterday's game. And I know there's wind, and I know there's other atmospheric conditions that play a factor in all of this sort of stuff. But when I look at just the raw data, right, I'm a process-driven, data-driven, quantitative type of guy, but understand that there's room for variables. When you look at the difference between Alejandro Kirk's sacrifice fly in the ninth inning, and I was in the building, and off the bat, I said, that's gone. Oh, no. Grand slam. Oh, no. And to set the stage, 99 coming in, 101 going out at a 30-degree launch angle. That is a quote-unquote barrel. Okay, barrel means optimal launch angle and optimal contact. However, StatCast says it was only a home run in 6 ballparks as it flew 398 feet. Only a homer in Baltimore, Cleveland, Dodger, T-Mobile, that's Seattle, Lone Depot, Miami, and Nationals, Washington. Now, there's no way, in my opinion, if a ball is out at Lone Depot Park, one of the most pitcher-friendly parks in baseball, that ball is not out to dead center field to American Family Field. And I was thinking, Dom, why are you being so negative about this? Well, Willie hit it at 106, so 5 miles an hour more, at 31 degrees of launch angle. The launch angle is not a concern because they're virtually the same. And when you add every mile per hour of exit velocity, it equals about, say, 6 feet or so, depending on the launch, of course, of distance the ball is flying. So, in theory, yes, Dom, of course. He hit the ball harder. It's going to be a home run. That much further? 50 feet further? On 5 mile an hour difference? 106 to 101? At the same launch angle? And one was a slider and one was a fastball, so the only evidence would be that Kirk just did not square it up center. But by the sound and what I saw in the ballpark, I'm like, that ball's gone. But one thing that we do have on the way in baseball bat tracking is attack angle and being able to see exactly where on the bat the ball was hit and that sort of thing. So we could, one day maybe go into the bat data and say, yes, that ball was hit just a hair off the toe and he wasn't able to hit it. But one thing we do have with bat angle, there's a difference with the bat angle of two schools of thought, right? You've heard the swing down on the ball and the hit up on the ball. Which one creates more fly balls? Swinging down on the ball creates backspin, which helps the ball carry further. Swinging up on the ball may be harder to square up, but gives you guaranteed fly balls. Fly balls are the Goldilocks of balls in play because they're generally hit for damage, and they generally go very far. And everyone's chasing fly balls. Kirk's attack angle was a negative attack angle, meaning he was slightly hitting down on the baseball. Not significant enough to say there's no chance this ball is going to get out. Willie's was a positive attack angle, meaning he was swinging up on the baseball at 8 degrees. So maybe that had something to do with it as well. I'm not going to sit here and say unequivocally, yes, the baseballs are deadened. I did kind of tweet it, but look, I know people in the ballpark felt the same way. Like, how did that ball not get out? And the Brewers will take it and run with it. The last thing I want to talk about in yesterday's game, the schoolyard play, and I tweeted this at Dom_Cotroneo. The schoolyard play is what I call when they have runners on the corners, they send the runner from first, and then he stops between first and second so they can send the runner from third home. The Brewers have done that a handful of times this season. And furthermore, it's on tape, right? This is what scouts do. They get ahead of the team and getting to see them, or they're looking at other games, or looking at other tape, they're keeping an eye on them all season long. I don't know how that play slipped through the cracks for the Blue Jays' advanced scouting department because, furthermore, it's no secret that the offense was struggling to score runs. They were 0 for 24 at that point with runners in scoring position in the whole series until William finally poked a single through the right side. So you knew they were going to try to create some sort of havoc. They had their two best base runners aboard with Perkins and Turang. I'm shocked that they didn't see it coming. And furthermore, that they executed so poorly. That means the way they executed that play showed me that the Blue Jays had no idea it was coming. No conversations about it, no pregame meeting about it, that, hey, the Brewers might do this depending on the personnel on the field. The ball gets away, Turang gets a third, Perkins scored easily, double steal, ho-hum. They're going to keep doing it until they're caught. I mean, they've only been caught, I think, once this year. And this is their brand. They're relentless. They try to get it done. And with 2 outs, that's a perfect opportunity to do it. Maybe they were shocked because William Contreras was at the plate. We're going to talk about William in the next segment. The Brewers know William's kind of running low on empty right now. He's trying to make it through the rest of June because it has not been pretty for him this month. So to put some action on, get some momentum to your side, I thought was a great call by Pat Murphy and by the Brewers to tie the game at the time, and then they never looked back. Brewers won yesterday 5-4. Let's talk about Wild Bill, the baby bull, William Contreras. That's coming up next here on Brewers Weekly on 620 WTMJ.
New residential, commercial, or multifamily construction? Call Quality Heating before you begin. Starting a new remodel? Pre-planning any new construction with a qualified HVAC design engineer assures your comfort will be at its maximum. Because the last thing you want your new project to be is uncomfortable. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. From Sheboygan to Illinois to Madison and all of greater southeastern Wisconsin, the man in the red van can give you a master plan.
Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Her bedroom in back was always warm, while the one in front was as cold as an igloo. She asked me what she should do, and I told her, Mary, zoning will solve your issue. At Quality Heating, the man in the red van knows how to even out your home's temperature and take care of humidity or lack thereof. Heck, you spend most of your life there. Why not maximize its comfort? This is Anthony Zanevsky. Ask the man in the red van about zoned heating and cooling ideas for your home.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Let's talk a little about William. 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620. William Contreras. Best catcher in baseball? I still think so. But there's something happening lately. Not quite getting the same launch. Not quite getting the same oomph into the baseball as of late. He still hits the ball hard, but he hits a lot of ground balls all of a sudden. So we can look at this on Baseball Savant, and I wish I could screen share this with you, but obviously this is a radio program, and this is how I do my job when I'm over on Bally, or when I'm with TBS, when I'm on the road. I can go into Baseball Savant and go into a bunch of different categories and timestamps and figure out what is going on by month for William Contreras. So let's start with a couple of things. We're doing this live on the radio together. William Contreras' hard hit rate for the first 2 months of the season was on par with each other. He was sitting at 56% through March and April, 56.2% in May, and it has dipped down to 49% here in June. I know what you're thinking, Dom, that's not a big difference. That's, 7 points? I get that. But furthermore, what he hits on those hard hit balls tells us a little bit more. In the first month of the year, he slugged .534 on balls that were quote-unquote hard hit, meaning they were 95 miles an hour or above. He also hit 5 home runs. He had an average launch angle of 6 degrees, which isn't super high, but still pretty good. Then in May, he was really getting it going. 301 average, 469 slug. So yes, he took a step back, but he still hit 3 homers, and he increased his average launch angle to 9 degrees. Good things, all good things. But here in June, on hard hit balls, he's hitting 209 with just a 256 slugging because his average launch angle is -3, meaning he's averaging hitting a ground ball. Well, how could that be? Dom, he's the best catcher in baseball. I thought he was going to do this forever. Of course. No, it's not going to happen forever. It's really hard to hit in the big leagues. Teams make adjustments to you. So that's where we go in and say, okay, let's just look at the frequency of certain pitches here. Is he seeing a different pitch group more often than others now? And is he struggling with a certain pitch group? He's actually seeing slightly more fastballs. He is still staying patient with those. But he is still seeing a hearty amount of breaking balls. It's been virtually the same month over month for the amount of pitches that he has seen. Fastballs and breaking balls. A few less off-speed, but that's changeups. That's like right on right changeups. We're facing a lefty, facing a changeup there. But again, the worry is the lack of slug for William here in the month of June. And we've talked about it, how he hasn't had many days off. He had just snapped a streak of 101 consecutive games started going back to last year. And I'm hoping he can sit down, and I know he wants to play every day, and it's a beautiful thing. And this is where we have to walk that fine line as baseball people, right? We want players to play every day, post every day, be great. Well, it's a catcher. It's just physically impossible. He's had 1 day off this year. Hopefully with these off days coming up, given they were off today, they'll go out west. They'll play 3 this weekend against Cincinnati, then 3 in Anaheim, 4 in San Diego, but then no off day coming back to play Texas. So they're about to begin on another long stretch here. But then off day in 2 weeks in 2 Thursdays, an off day the following Monday leading into the All-Star break, and then All-Star break is 5 days for the Brewers because they play the Twins after the fact. I would not be shocked if we see an off day, especially if the Brewers win the first 2 games of this series against the Reds. I haven't even looked at their rotation yet. If the Brewers win the first 2 games of this series, I would give William a day off on Sunday. Start to make it a little more consistent for him. Give him the JT Realmuto treatment where, look, man, I know you want to play every day just like JT does, but I got to find a spot for you. And maybe you start keeping him fresher because it's cool to post in June. All the Brewers really care about is him posting in October if they make it that far. So that's my little monitoring about the amount of ground balls that William has been hitting. He has not hit a home run this month. He has struck out about the same rate. It's just not as much quality contact for him. But here in the month of June, he's hitting .209. He is 9 for 43. You look at last June when he was still trying to break in to be, yes, I'm an everyday player, I'm an everyday catcher, stop playing Caratini over me. Last June, he also scuffled. Heck, he scuffled in May last June to a 194 average despite having 5 homers. So maybe this is just a normal trend for him at this point in the season, saying, just need a little blow. Once I get through the All-Star break, once I get through July, everything's good from there. We're not even at the dog days yet. But I think Williams going to be A-okay. That's just some of the things that we're monitoring because the Brewers need pop from him and some serious slug from him and from Yelich, who's only hit 1 home run since he came off the injured list. Yes, he's getting on base, which is great. But the Brewers do not have any lefty power without Christian Yelich. Let's talk about some roster moves and some injury updates as well. Some big night down on the farm. Talk about that coming up next here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickert. A lot of home shoppers, like Jordan and Michelle, just go with their bank when it comes to getting a pre-approval. It wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Southeast Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. The result? Accepted offer on the very next try. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. Most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting a pre-approval. But the little secret is that listing agents who are advising sellers on which offer to accept don't really like seeing pre-approvals from banks. They prefer fully verified pre-approvals from trusted local lenders like AccuNet Mortgage. Our closing costs are also typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks for exactly the same rate. Save money and get a pre-approval listing agents love by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
St. Vincent de Paul at 76th and Bradley Road is having our grand opening celebration this Father's Day weekend, June 13th through the 15th. Doors open at 9 a.m. and everything's on sale, 20% off. There'll be some great food trucks, cool giveaways, and it's a great chance for thrifters to see a whole new store's worth of inventory and bargains. 76th and Bradley in Milwaukee. Don't miss our grand opening sale, June 13th through the 15th.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Gear up for more Brewers action when the crew takes on the Reds June 14th through the 16th. Plus, get a Sal Frelick bobblehead on Saturday the 15th. Find your spot at brewers.com/tickets.
Hey, it's Father's Day weekend. Show your father and grandfather your love with a free dinner at the award-winning Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's my favorite place to hang out. And when you buy one dinner, you get a second dinner free tonight and this Father's Day weekend. Dad can order his favorite steak, ribs, pasta, the pan-fried walleye, anything on the menu. Your second dinner's free. Desserts for Dad are also buy one, get one free. And how about the Father's Day brunch? It's everything your dad loves for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all you can eat. Kids and grandkids 3 and under, they eat for free. The Fox and Hounds and the Kettle Moraine Forest, a one-of-a-kind Father's Day destination. Your dad will love being right there in the woods. I highly recommend the Father's Day Friday fish fry. It's all you can eat and one of the best. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill. The summer drive is spectacular. The patio in the woods is gorgeous. Your dad will love the Father's Day all-you-can-eat brunch or the free dinner this week. Call and reserve today. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
We're fighting through it. We're almost there. I can see the finish line. Mind over matter. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. I do not feel well, but we're almost there. Maybe tomorrow, just sleep it off. I'm one of those people, and if you're listening, you know this, or maybe you know somebody in your family that's like this. I'm one of those people that just goes, and then, boom, I hit a wall, and it's like, hey, Dom, listen to your body, man. Like, take a breather. So I think my body's trying to tell me something. Like, I wear a Whoop. If you're not familiar, it's like a fitness tracker. And it's really intuitive. I've worn it since 2020. The players wear it now, too. The whole team has a Whoop band either on their ankle or on their upper arm just to keep them in tip-top shape. But it gives you a recovery score every morning. And it's on a 0 to 100 scale. So anything above 67%, so 2/3, is considered green. You're in the green. You're good. You're more than half recovered, well more than half than covered, and you should be fine for the day. Anything but under 66 to 34% is considered yellow. It's like, hey, you could be better, but hey, it's not worse. Anything 33% or below is red. Like, dude, shut it down. Do not do anything today. And that generally happens, like the way they market it is, drinking too much or not getting enough sleep or that sort of thing. Well, I had nothing to do with that yesterday. No sort of tomfoolery of that. Didn't sleep well last night. And then, boom, I wake up. 3% recovery. So we're fighting through it today. Speaking of guys fighting through it, how about I like that segue, right? Going into the injured list, okay? Some guys playing in AAA right now as the Brewers have a really big day down there in Nashville with Garrett Mitchell, D.L. Hall, and J.B. Bukowskis all scheduled to appear in today's game. I am pulling up the box score as we speak. Right now they're in Gwinnett taking on the Braves AAA affiliate down in northern Georgia. It is 8-4 Gwinnett. As for the guys that you worry about, D.L. Hall, he was on a strict pitch count today. He only threw 25 pitches, only 12 were strikes. 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and also a home run. Home run was hit by Alvarez Jr. Is that who I think it is? No, Nacho Alvarez. He's been around the block for a little bit in the minor leagues. And so he hit a home run. DL is just restarting from his second diagnosis on his knee. Velo sat at 94 miles an hour for the fastball. This is the first of probably a handful more for DL to return. As for Bukowskis, he just got into the game, his first game action back, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run. That was earned, no walks and no strikeouts. Bukowskis threw 20 pitches, only 10 strikes. So you get a theme here. Guys are a little rusty coming off the injured list. And then finally, Garrett Mitchell also had his first game in AAA today after coming from the rookie complex Arizona, getting out of the 115-degree heat. Garrett today is 1 for 4 with a bloop double, no strikeouts. He's put the ball in play all 4 times about the play. He also exposed the Jets a little bit. He had a sprint speed at 29.6 in his first at-bat of the day. So he'll get what Pat Murphy says is somewhere in the 30 to 40 at-bat range on this rehab assignment. He is still hoping to join the team at some point next week on the West Coast. But maybe something a little more realistic is when the Rangers are in town to make sure he's 100% ready to go. That's your quick little injury update here, and we'll get ready to say goodbye after this on 620 WTMJ.
The Brewers Radio Network salutes all those who are serving or have served to protect our freedom.
Hey, this is Steve Scavidi, host of the Political Power Hour, and my salute to the troops goes to my father, Dominic, who served in the U.S. Air Force overseas and in the United States, and my brother, Dave, he served in the U.S. Navy in the southern part of the United States. Thanks for stepping up for all of us and your service to our country.
This Brewers Radio Network salute to all servicemen and women is sponsored by Discount Liquor.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can, but you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back, but it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Siding Unlimited named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
We did the math. When you buy bag mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
All right, last couple minutes. Appreciate you all bearing with me here today on the pod or on the radio. The Brewers get ready to welcome in the Reds. It's a big series because the Brewers are already 2-1 against Cincinnati this year, and they have a doubleheader looming after the trade deadline, and that'll be in Cincinnati in August as the Brewers, they get ready to go Cincinnati now, and then they'll see Cincinnati again in early August, August 9th, 10th, and 11th, another weekend here in Milwaukee, a lovely city, mind you. And then the 4 games in 3 days, the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st. The Reds are playing better baseball right now, and they're a hot and cold team. They're very reminiscent of Team Streak right now here in the month of June. They are 8-3. You go back to their Dodgers sweep is what really got them going. They got swept by the Dodgers in L.A. in mid-May. Then they faced them again a week later at home, and they swept them right back. They were 21-30 at that time. They're now 12-5 since the start of that series. And of course, Elly De La Cruz is the straw that stirs the drink, as they say. Elly, batting average isn't much to be desired, but we don't grade guys just by batting average anymore. Leads baseball in stolen bases. He also leads baseball in strikeouts. So it's a feast or famine type guy with Elly De La Cruz. He is going to be very tough for the Crew. Looking ahead to what the predicted rotation will be, always subject to change. It should be Freddie Peralta tomorrow for the Brewers against Hunter Green, Bryce Wilson on Saturday against Andrew Abbott, and then Sunday, Colin Ray against Frankie Montas. So both teams are going after it with their best. Games will begin tomorrow night at 7:10. Right here is first pitch. Coverage will begin at 6 with Brewers warm-up. Then on Saturday, it is at 3:10, and on Sunday at 1:10. My thanks to our producer, Matt Yazel. I'm Tom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Quality heating.
Heat pumps have been the norm down south,